Welcome to Clover DX Data Manager series. We're looking at reference data management for business users using Data Manager. I'll show you how business users can manage important reference tables with Data Manager. Nearly every data pipeline relies on reference tables to look up important information during the transformation process. Just writing a customer's address to a report might involve multiple reference tables with state and country codes, etc. The data in these tables is really important to maintain, and while it doesn't change often, it will change. And it's vital that these changes are properly managed, approved, and distributed consistently to all who rely on the data, even as far as timing when the changes will take place. Usually it's you, the domain expert, the business user, who knows what data needs to be added or changed, and you've got to somehow let the data engineers know that this needs to be updated to keep your business processes running. With Data Manager and reference data sets, you can have responsibility over these tables, updating them yourself, with the data pipeline instantly picking up the changes without having to involve the data engineers at all. Let's look at how this works. So I'll go to Data Manager and Reference Datasets, and I have two reference datasets. Let's look at stores. This is a list of all of our company stores with their addresses and phone numbers. We use this table for many company processes, so it's crucial to keep it up to date. Each reference dataset needs to have a key field. Here, it's store ID. You can see this table has the basic address data and then an enabled toggle where I can choose for that row to be disabled or enabled in our reference lookups. Then, this is optional for your reference datasets. There's a valid from and valid to column, which allow me to have multiple versions of a record available. Store 1989 is about to move from Oakland to Sacramento. So I'm going to create a new row for that store to make sure that when the move date arrives, our processes continue seamlessly. So I'll highlight the store and click Duplicate. It'll ask me if I want to change my view to scroll to the new row, so I'll say yes. Okay. And then I will change the data in the fields for the new store. And then you'll notice we've got red flags on the valid from and valid to columns. This is because when we have the same store ID in two rows, they cannot have conflicting valid from and to dates. So we're going to change the valid from date on our new store to the date that we want it to take effect. So that's March 31st, 2025. And then I'll just go ahead and copy that valid from and set it as the valid to on the original column. And then those red flags disappear and we're ready to go. Finally, in order for it to be officially added to the reference tables that our company is using, I just need to approve the changes. And now our automation will just seamlessly continue with the new address when we reach the valid from date. You can easily add new rows to the dataset here, or if you need to insert a huge number of rows, the data engineer can do that easily through the Clover Designer. Let's look at how to create a reference dataset. From the reference datasets page, I'll click New, and then I need to give my dataset a name and a description, and decide whether I want to use effective dates or not. This is what will allow me to keep multiple versions of the same record. Then I will go to Data Layout, where I will describe the columns that I need for my dataset. We can make state code, a string column, and state name, another street column. Great. You'll also have system columns of ID and enabled toggle on or off Boolean field. Then I go to key columns, where I'll select which column or columns I want to use as my key for the lookup table. Finally, User roles. We have 4 roles. Admins, who can configure data, edit, and approve it. Approvers, who can approve the data and edit the data. Editors, who can only edit the data. And finally, read-only users, for someone who might need to see the data, but you don't want them to make changes to it. And that's creating a data set. Now, you can use Data Manager and reference datasets to make sure that your reference data is always up to date and trustworthy, because it's being managed by the people who use it, the business users.